encroachment on the space there a little bit. You love to see it. As we went back in time, we've only been really good at going forward in time off.
He's such a show-off, honestly.
know.
He has to go above and beyond.
That's the pro gamer mentality, you know, always be better.
Yeah.
Well, we are not. We are just going to continue moving forward in time. I don't think we're going to be able to upgrade that.
Do you see the bans starting to come through? Vi taken away, to no one's real surprise. The Rise going to come out as a ban from DRX. And we did see like Rumble Jace banned by DRX on that red side. They will go again with the Rumble ban.
Yeah, Perfect has been absorbing quite a few of the Rumble bans.
Yeah. Which I think was completely fine. It did feel weird that they banned Rumble Jace and then let him get the Gwen, but we'll see what they angle for this time. We do see the Kalista ban come out. This was banned second rotation by DRX, but KT not wanting to give it over in the first rotation. I think a factor, you know, Talia not being available, definitely something that can kind of shut down that Kalista, maybe factoring into this. Nidalee taken away from Cuz. I mean, I guess potentially also Perfect, but that one denied there.
Is it Pantheon first pick? Is that what they're going for?
I think the ones standing out to me are Pantheon or Jace.
Yeah.
As the
Poppy is also another one.
Yeah, I don't think I'd see it first picked, but definitely a lot of value.
Let's see what KT are going to do, because you could just ban something else entirely, like a Nico, for example, although that does feel like a self-ban, as Peter has been very good. The Nidalee ban does kind of give away the fact that the Scion could be coming, and that is precisely what Rich is going to do. With Gwen off the cards as well, it's going to be more difficult, but Perfect is just going to slam Yorick, isn't he?
Could do. I remember, I will say though, that the Trundle being off the cards,
yeah, it's another big one.
Amps up the strength of this. Ari Wukong could just come through from KT though. I think a big factor is they have so much mobility, it can sometimes be hard for the Scion to keep up for them.
We're going to fight not fire with not fire!
Well, actually, Ornn has a good amount of fire.
Oh yeah, that's true. But you
and
know
also,
what I mean?
Scion has like the fire in his...
All right, and one of his abilities is called Furnace.
Yeah.
There is a... Yeah, okay. Never mind. So we are fighting fire with fire. And basically, it's just going to be red-themed tanks on the top side of the map slapping one another. The Ahri is going to come through, and so that is going to allow Sponge to take something like the Wukong if he'd like it. But the Poppy is also still up. And so maybe KT, we're just saying, you take it, we'll take the Poppy into it, and hope that we'll find enough damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure about taking the Poppy and having like tank jungle, tank top. It's a little bit all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
I mean,
two baskets maybe?
Two baskets normally. They are looking towards that Victor in the mid lane for Yehu. Could go, I mean, Pantheon Victor doesn't, it's by a huge amount of joy, but he could pick it up just for some early pressure and maybe lean towards the bot side. There's a lot of scaling for DRX already though. But to be fair, they are playing into an Ornn. They're looking at the Poppy. It could be a flex. Could still have that option.
Yeah.
But right now, this is a very strong front line for DRX. The scaling back line, not as much early agency though. And KT, I feel like it probably could just be the Wukong for Cuz. I mean, obviously Poppy has a good amount of disengage, but you can play around it with the Warrior Trickster.
He wants to play Viego. That's what I'm feeling in my waters. Like, it's Cuz. He just wants to play Viego at all times. But instead, it is going to be that Wukong, and I agree with you. Definitely the more meta pick at this point in time.
Especially with the Victor on the other side.
Yeah. Feels like a good choice. So a little bit more front foot here for KT as far as their second round of picks are concerned after the tanks did come in. And now let's see where the bans are going to go, as it is all about the bottom lanes, especially for KT, as they don't have the same level of flexibility unless Senna on. So there is still a flex potential.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you would, because now we're going... The thing at the moment is farming Senna. And Senna on was already a thing with fasting Senna.
Yeah.
Xayah ban comes through, often common when you want to play like more dive focus. Maybe Xayah Ezreal are the bans from KT. We could just see Alistair Senna from DRX as the ban. They actually end up banning the Lulu, so maybe concerned about something like a Jinx Lulu coming through.
Yep.
Rakan is also a possibility still for KT, but I mean, I guess the Poppy on the side negates it a decent amount, but
I think maybe you want to ban both of
them.
You could ban Xayah Rakan, actually just get rid of both. Instead, the Braum is going to be taken away. Of course, you have Ornn, so you want to avoid the door.
That makes sense, I think, in this situation. I think DRX, Alistair is a fine ban, Senna's a fine ban. Again, yeah, Poppy's good into Rakan, but like Rakan Wukong is so scary. that a lot of teams just ban it, even if they have the Poppy on hand.
So the Alistair is going to be taken away.
And it's going to be the Senna in return.
Oh, it's Senna on. It's happening.
It's a great pickup. You have that follow-up when your team are diving in. You can ult across. You have that range. You have that scaling. You're going to feel really good about this. You know, you're playing into a heavy scaling composition from DRX, and you're like, fine, we're down to go late.
Yeah. Infinite scaling versus infinite scaling. One on the defensive side and one on the offensive side is LazyFeel. Going to go towards some scaling himself. The Zeri can certainly pop off later into the game. And there is a Nautilus to pair alongside her.
Now, what to pick up for Peter in the support role? A lot of the engaged support's taken off the cards. Is he just going to go the Rakan?
He's thinking about it.
A little bit. I mean, again, it pairs well with the Wukong. A little bit squishy, though. There's a lot of things that can explode you, so this isn't the easiest Rakan game to play.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. He does want the mobility to get out of the way of things like trains and stuff like that that are going to be running towards him, but the Poppy is going to be a bit of a headache for Peter.
Poppy,
I don't think this is...
Victor.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this is a better look for DRX. I think they've utilized blue side pretty effectively here. And KT, let's see whether they can make it work. I do like the draft on paper, right? Like, I'm looking at it, but I'm seeing the Poppy value, the fact that the late game is where KT kind of want to go, and DRX looking pretty comfortable in that location themselves.
Yeah.
Rich on a lot of comfort here on the Scion as well.
Yeah, I think definitely I prefer it compared to the previous game's draft. I think both teams have a lot of scaling elements. If they goes late, I think we're going to see some explosive team fights. I have some concerns for some of the squishy elements of KT's composition, especially if the Victor just explodes the Rakan, you can get those resets on the ultimate. So as much as you have like a Senna Owen, I don't think it's just, okay, scale and you win by default. It's really going to be looking at this mid-jungle support trio of KT to see what they can do, because if Wukong, Ahri, Rakan fall behind, they do start to feel a little bit underwhelming.
Yep. Digimon out again because it's Wolf's day off, and that's how it works. Just not allowed to see Digimon fan signs, I guess. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm hoping that we're going to see the DRX turnaround. See whether KT can do it one more time, get that 2-0 that they are really looking for here today.
시간사의 극곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Oh my god. KT fans, yeah, hysterically loud at Lol Park here today, and we're on the DRX side, so I have no excuse. Like, normally I'm like, oh, they're so loud, but then it turns out that I'm like in a sea of their fans, and so it does make sense. This is the opposite. We're on the DRX side, and KT almost blew out my eardrums. Impressive stuff here from the KT fandom. Maybe some E-word, but as we said before, the most depressing timeline still alive even with a 2-0 here, no matter how good they look. So don't worry, you can feel completely free to go for any sort of exuberance that you might have in your KT fandom.
Do you see LazyFeel handle positioned pretty aggressively here?
Yeah, just walking up into the enemy jungle.
Won't find anything for their trouble, though.
Who wins this matchup, Ox? Who is it? Is it the Ornn? Is it the Scion? I see, like, Perfect's hammer is... he's got two, I guess. He's dual-wielding the hammers.
Yeah.
But Rich's is way bigger.
You know... I think early on, Scion gets the push. But I think Ornn can just, like, bellows breath you after a while.
Well, that's a nice little hook there. It's going to be the Piercing Darkness, though, to just make the matchup feel not as great. This is odd. Like, what's the scaling conversation about Senna versus Zeri? Do you get like a 40-minute power spike as the Zeri over the Senna and then a 70-minute power spike as the Senna?
I mean, they kind of play differently. The thing is, the Senna just outranges you so heavily. But like, if the Zeri gets an opportunity to get in your face, she does a lot more DPS. So it really just depends on like the dynamic of team fights. My main concern for DRX in here is that they have a 2-carry composition into like Wukong, Rakan, Ahri, Ornn. So like, if you get to these 5v5s, and let's say KT press all their buttons, And even one of them hits Lazyfield, right?
Yeah.
And he's not able to, it's not even that he like immediately dies, he's not able to deal damage. They just lose so much of their damage in the fight. That's my concern, really.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot on Yahoo's shoulders. I mean, none of it really matters if DRX get a snowball earlier on. And with the fact that KT also have a bit of a scaling draft, it might be possible, but I'm looking at the Ahri Wukong and I'm a little bit worried. So I see your point. As here on the bottom side, Peter and Dr. Arm doing the very best just to weather the storm here, as we can see. And Sponge is moving in. VODs is moving out.
Oh yeah, he's been pretty good. And again, I think the Victor can really change the dynamic, because one of the things with Victor late game is how absurd his ult is. And like, if you're all diving in, you know, because often I talk about like 2 carry compositions, and I'm like, look, if you trade, like even let's say you trade support jungle for Zeri, normally that feels really good, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've taken down one of these carries, it's worth it because of how much they represent of the team. The thing is, when you're against a Victor, his ult just turns into like this monstrous, massive AoE, so it becomes a lot harder to opt into fights that way. You can't be so reckless, because if Peter dies, and then let's say Cuz dies for Lazyfield, suddenly this Arcane Storm is more accurate.
Yeah.
And just wipes the entire fight.
Wipes the whole dimension.
Yeah.
We could ask Chronicler about that. He knows about Arcane Season.
He knows all the lore.
Yeah, he knows all the lore about Victor. I think that was his favorite character in Arcane Season 2. He was pretty complex, I thought. But we'll talk to Chronicler about it. I don't want to say things that I don't really understand. I've only watched Season 2 twice.
I heard he just finished his 3rd rewatch, so
Whoa, he's so dedicated.
in fact, okay, I didn't want to say this, I don't want to spoil this, but I've heard you have to look pretty carefully for it. Oh, Gage coming in.
Well, need to look pretty carefully for Dr. Arm here as well, and the anchor is not going to quite find him there, as now without Aftershock, Andor will be taking a bit of extra damage, but still just kind of tickling him is Dr. Arm on this center, as they do manage to get the crash that they were looking for.
Yeah, I've heard Chronicler has a secret YouTube channel
where really?
He talks about his thoughts and theories about series. Need an Arcane one, and the video is 7 hours long.
Oh my
Just
God.
to show the level of understanding of Arcane Season 2.
Well, if it's 7 hours long, I have a feeling he didn't understand.
No, but
that's
he's really going into the depths.
Time.
So he's talking about, like, you know, there's this point where like he's talking about like a little mustache like flicker, you know, when like handling was like this, and he's like, this is what this means. He spent 30 minutes on that.
Oh wow, I hope it's good news. All right.
Well, you'll have to watch to see.
Yeah, we'll have to watch to see. As VODs is going to just walk out of the way of the gravity field and Sponge. The train heads towards the top side of the map. That is going to connect. It's not double trains on the top side, which is a little bit sad. You could have had the train conductor and the train. But unfortunately, Perfect did not elect to go for that skin.
That would have been peak, honestly.
It would have been.
That's the matchup we're looking for.
Well, this is not the matchup that Cuz is looking for. He's just going to get heroically charged into the wall. And yeah, has to flash. I actually respect the flash usage instead of just trying to worry a Trickster away. Could have been blocked by a Steadfast Presence. Just gets himself out of there. This is going to be the Drake being secured here by DRX. And early control looking pretty good.
Yeah, able to get that early dragon, not going for the early swap we sometimes see. Drake in hand for DRX. And so far, things are pretty positive. You know, mid-matchup's been going pretty good for Yahoo into BDD on this Ahri. Jungle matchup as well in favor of Sponge. Early positive play for DRX. And again, we said every single game matters in this series. If KT drop a game, it has massive implications for their chances of making the Legend group over D+.
Yep, it's humongous. Dr. making good use of this pickaxe that he picked up earlier on. Lazyfield with just the slingshot that makes you feel bad. So even if the stats are actually okay, just seeing it in your inventory isn't okay.
It's such, you know what? I think
underwhelming.
It's just the fact that it's like a green square.
Yeah.
You know, so many other items, like the outline of it isn't like as clear, or like it's got like there's some color to it, but like it doesn't fill the edges. But it's just that complete green square. It just doesn't look intimidating.
It doesn't really.
No.
It's more of a go button rather
like even
than
look at Lost
I'm in a
Chapter.
stop you button.
It's got a blue glow, but the blue glow is very clearly around
an item.
Yeah. It's not just, okay, the whole the whole thing's green.
Yeah. Yep. So LazyFeel is going to lose half of his health bar because he has the wrong item in
I will say though, I feel like Senna really strong at the moment. A big reason is obviously she got the buffs, so farming Senna viable. But the build for at the moment, we're seeing the static Shiv be favored heavily, and that's such a big spike for her. So when Duckdom can get that, we'll be in a great position. We do see Sponge looking to contest these grubs.
Yeah, just wanders on in to try and take these down. DRX do manage to get a secure onto one of them. Exactly right. Now does have his smite on cooldown, as here is a hook connecting from Andil as LazyFeel dashing after Doctom. He really wants to hold on to the flash. Is going to utilize the barrier, but that's all he has to expend. That is good news. One apiece as far as these grubs are concerned, because we'll be able to get the second one. So that is going to be an evening out of the objective feats of strength.
I think DRX super happy with that. They get the barrier from Duckdom. We see Sponge just slide in, grab a grub and leave. Doesn't even have to stick around for a while.
Yeah.
And he already got that Drake earlier. 2 minutes 30 till the next one's up. So very happy with how that one panned out. But yeah, as I was saying kind of about the center, once you get that Shiv, you know, Shiv in and of itself, just the wave clear offers to the center, I think just really makes the champion so much better, because I think that's something she's always struggled with a good amount.
Yeah.
It's just the ability to push in waves.
And I feel as well, the Black Cleaver from the center, because she stacks it so incredibly well.
Yeah.
That paired alongside the Wukong is going to be very powerful in the mid game as well when 2 items do get picked up by Doctor.
Shit, especially into like Poppy Scion.
Yeah.
It's going to feel good.
So being able to have that shred that's in your build regardless of whether the enemy team is full tank or not is kind of important. So we'll see how they're going to be able to utilize that. Death Ray coming on through here from Yehu's just pressing a lot of his buttons. VODs respecting quite a lot here, as you can see. 10 CS is the approximate advantage here for Yehu this time around.
I love how we had the Chovy build, the double haunting guys, no mana item.
Yep.
And now Yehu's got Lost Chapter tier, spam all my abilities as much as possible. Just
it's either all the mana or none of the mana, I guess.
2 very different play styles, you know?
Yeah.
One where you have to be a lot more efficient and choose your abilities more carefully. Another where Yehu's like, I will press all my buttons whenever I can.
And he's doing it.
He is.
And it is allowing this lane to stay in DRX's control for basically the majority of time. It's helping Sponge get around this map, seeing the value of this Poppy continuing as the blue numbers on the screen, as you can see. Not necessarily anything that's notable just yet. Untiles is completed. LazyFeel, he gets rid of the slingshot from his inventory, which feels great. But Doctom does exactly the same thing. Static Shiv now complete.
Yep.
Perfect just beginning to breathe on Rich over again.
Tank 1v1s.
Oh yeah.
Sunfire.
Beautiful. Okay, Andil gonna just try for it once again, but Doctom almost has that barrier back up again. So he is going to be absolutely fine. And if, like, I'm finding it really interesting, thinking about, like, if I was either of these teams, which one of them would I feel better at, as far as seeing the game stagnate and just getting towards a late game? Because I'm looking at like, the epitomization of scaling, Senna, infinite scaling, but then you've got, like, double frontline Victor Zeri. Like, that's a lot of, you know, late game team fighting.
Both teams being like, these fools, we outscale.
Exactly. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing, is it's not clear cut. Both teams have strong scaling elements, and it just comes down to execution as we get further on.
Another flash out of Cuz here as he gets out of the way of Andil. It's a great hook to come on through as Richard teleported in. KT, I don't think they're going to give this up without a fight, as LazyFeel now in a lot of trouble. Stunned over that wall, Doctom holding him at bay. Now there's only one big damage dealer available, and Yehu is on top of a ward right now. So is Cuz. There's now Peter going in for the world's slowest charm, but they get on top of their target. The Dawning Shadow comes down as well. And with the help of the Spirit Rush, Cuz is able to take down the Victor. The damage is just not here. LazyFeel has to get out of there. The train crashes into a wall, and the Flash Charm from VODs will seal the deal against Rich. The zombie form comes on through, and KT even get the dragon.
I think a lot of overconfidence from DRX to set up for that dragon and just let KT move into position to pounce. Peter with so much patience with the charm, doesn't let Sponge block him. They get onto the Victor, they blow up Yehu, and they're able to find the team fight.
Peter, he found the hard counter. You just press quickness and walk.
It's so powerful.
It's
the walk
so
strategy.
strong. He was, look at this. What? Presses and he gets slowed down and wanders at them until he's far enough past the Poppy.
Yeah, ends up using the flash. Connect the CC onto the Victor. You remove one of those carries. Laserfield never really got into the fight, and the fight is just done.
Yeah.
Resets come through, and this is that explosive element of KT's composition where you can just decimate those carries, take them out of the fight, take them out of the equation.
미안, 형. 미안.
Wait, what did he steal? Did he steal a kill?
He seemed shocked himself.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine, Peter. Don't you worry about it. Yeah, he got the kill onto Sion after, I guess, BDD flashed for it. That's all right.
We'll allow it.
I'm sure BDD is totally okay. He got like 9 kills in the last game. He's got plenty.
Yeah.
Peter just going to be getting out of the way of Rich, who's moving on in right now. 1.5k going to be the gold lead as a result of that last fight. But there are further implications, right? When you've got these two compositions that do want to scale, permanent things like dragons are going to be pretty sought after, especially the mountain. Mountain Drake, just a solo Mountain Drake when it's an Ocean Soul, feels real good.
Also, Ocean Soul, this is such... I mean, some games like Ocean Soul, whatever, like, don't get me wrong, it's not the craziest dragon, but like, Sion on with Ocean Soul.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's cooking.
Not to mention the fact that, like, we spoke about this already, but KT, they have like the Shred available. They're also a very tanky team, right? Like the Ornn is going to be in that front line, and these fights could last a long time.
Yeah.
Ocean Soul value could certainly be up there.
And I think now a big thing is because 2-0-1 on that Wukong, my concern he was falling a bit behind in terms of the jungle matchup against Sponge. And I think the elements of KT, the Wukong, the Ahri, and the Rakan, if they fell behind, those are the picks that you can't just kind of have guaranteed value from. You know, if the game goes late, Victor, Poppy, they're always going to be useful, right? But if Wukong, Ahri fall behind, you can see them be useless very quickly. So it's really important that they get some injection of gold, and we have seen that. This Wukong now already with the Triforce is going to feel so much better about how this game is going.
Yep. BDD as well going for the more tanky build. We have seen the Malignants coming back. That was what I believe Showmaker put together yesterday. And so going to be maybe building a Liandry's, which I think is going to be relatively strong into this comp of DRX, just to add to that shred that they already have. Sponge moving over, looking to see whether he can deny feats of strength one more time, as this Rift Herald has been started. KT are moving into the river though, and it looks like Sponge is not going to risk it. Now just opting in for possibly just a heroic charge over the wall. Doesn't get the stun though, as BDD just walks it off. And I believe either held the charm or landed it very early on and just didn't really even notice.
He did get it and was able to navigate away from it. Unfortunately, the stun from Sponge didn't quite reach that wall, just a little short. The DRX trying to find some angles here.
Because testing Sponge there to see whether the steadfast presence button was being hovered.
Yeah, reaction test.
Yeah.
But now means it's down. Peter could just...
walk at him.
Yeah, it doesn't opt to.
Still Doctorm. Depth Charge actually comes out, but there's the Cyclone in answer. Andal, no real response here as Lazyfield just gets jumped on by Peter. He's got the quickness running as Sponge just shuts him down. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Yehu in a lot of trouble, but he's answering back. The Arcane Storm doing so much work, and it's a double here for Lazyfield as he gets himself out as well. He's looking to go back home. BDD running out of buttons, and Sponge gets on top of him and eliminates him. The Ram coming on through though, that's a great knockup, but where's the follow-up? Where are the options? And DRX, it's their turn to find a good team fight.
Much more scattered, much less coordinated from KT there, and you see how different it ends up going. You know, Peter's down here by Sponge, Doctum steps up to try and hit Andal, and it just becomes so chaotic. The CC is focused on Andal. You see Peter interrupted, he jumps onto Lazyfield, but there's no follow-up, and then Doctum ends up flashing into the Herald Pit where you have no outs. He's corralled in, Cuz is low, BDD isn't able to get any resets here. And the difference you see when members of DRX get low compared to when they actually go down and give BDD resets, night and day.
Oh, it's huge.
You know, Perfect comes in and he's like...
The world's latest teleport.
It's like, guys, I'm here.
Yep. What did I miss?
No, I'm not. I'm gone.
Yeah. Well, you missed a lot. As it turns out, we're going to see KT's gold lead still there. but feeling a little worse for wear, as the dragon has spawned. See whether it is a take it in turns type scenario when it comes to figuring out who's going to win each team fight. It's KT move on over. This dragon has been started up. Yehu on the bottom side of this fight. Doctam getting flanked by Rich. Does need to keep himself a little bit safe here as this dragon taking a very long time to go down. Lazy Feel finally getting some damage in there, and Sponge just throws down the smite. Andil could be in trouble though, throws the anchor into Narnia. And the Nautilus is unfortunately just going to get slowed down, thrown into the pit, and will get destroyed. Sponge now in a little bit of trouble at the same time as the Keeper's Verdict is in. The Ornn is going to be removed. The flash actually, and then on top of it, is a little bit problematic, but the Charm is going to connect. A double kill here for Cuz. And this is exactly what we're talking about. This time it's KT's turn to win a team fight, but they do lose out on the objective, as DRX do manage to equalize that one.
I just love how polite our teams are. The fact
Yeah.
turns.
I didn't, I knew Wadid was trying to sell us on the, it's a turn-based game, you know, you got to take your turn. I didn't know it was this turn-based.
Yeah, you know. Very nice to see. 64 stacks for Doctam, so starting to get a good amount of range there. But you're seeing how differently things can pan out depending on execution. DRX do get the Dragon though. I think pretty happy to pick that one up for 2 kills. A decent injection gold over. All to Cuz though.
I mean, I don't know, is that a bad thing?
It's not bad, but it's also, I feel like you would have appreciated some kills onto BDD and Doctam, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Especially since Lazyfield does have 2 kills in his pocket, so we'll see here. This is very clearly just a let's disengage. Lazyfield has no flash. He's already nearly half HP. KT in a better position to fight, especially as Peter has flash himself. So this was kind of just let's try and disengage. Perfect. There is a play to be made here. If you have your Bellows Breath up, you can use that to try and block the flash. You know what? Maybe a little practice needed on that timing.
It was a little subpar.
Sometimes you try and go for the play on the day and it just doesn't. You know, Perfect, I hope, after he got knocked away, he went, you know what, I learned something there.
Yeah, and that would be very valuable. As Lazyfield, he's learning something valuable as well. If he gets into range of Doctam, he takes big damages. Yeah,
he's not got the Black Cleaver. Rapid Fire, typically the item that comes in next, and that's really where the center takes off, but definitely very strong now.
Yep.
Taken off, because so much damage.
He really does. The Cyclone going to be coming on through there, and that's going to get the ult out from Sponge. BDD doesn't quite find the damage on Yehu here towards bottom side, and the Arcane Storm going to come down. In exchange, BDD going to throw out the ulti and gets himself away from this one, but now a lot of the damage out of this fight as BDD looks to push this one up. The Otacon just getting taken lower and lower, and DRX, they do finally get a ward over. They do see that this is going down. They teleport in from the Scion. The Poppy is still making her way back in.
Oh, it's dangerous.
Yeah, KT, I think they realize the amount of danger that they're in, but now the Ornn is going to be sounded. Rich, moving on forward, finds the crash. That is going to be Cuz locking down the Otacon as Peter just holding them in place. The Dawning Shadow goes down. BDD flashes over the wall, and Lazyfield is able to shut him down. Now Cuz with a Blast Cone for safety, and the Extendo Beam not going to be enough to take down the Wukong, so they'll trade the Otacon for the Ahri, and maybe that's okay for KT.
Yeah, just one casualty for that I think they're okay with in that situation. Definitely precarious though, and a lot of tools not available, so they definitely didn't want this fight. The call was get the Otacon disengaged. You saw they started to leave, but DRX was setting it up to take it themselves. They kept it at 4k HP, and they knew they have to finish it. They have to secure it and back off. Yeah, great.
He chomped 4 people, and that allowed everyone from BDD to get away.
He got so much value there. And Cuz getting away, not giving over that shutdown to the Zeri, very fortunate. I will say, though, a lot of Summoners burn in this situation. A lot of big flashes. Dragon up in a minute 10, which is what I'm looking towards. I will say the Lazyfield did also burn his flash, so a lot of Summoners on cooldown. But the gold, almost even. That stat bonus has come through, though, from the Otacon. And a bit of an XP bonus as well is a factor, but the game is so close right now.
It really is. Outside of the jungle matchup, which is feeling so incredibly Cuz favored. 5-0-1, of course, but he's got 2 items. And so if this Wukong is ever involved, the time where DRX does need to be careful, as Peter going to get hooked back. Does manage to grand exit that situation. No Poppy in the area, so he is going to be okay. As BDD... Okay, Sponge was bit of an odd situation there as BDD moves away from the wall. That's smart. As the charm comes through, they invest a fair bit, but Andil will be going down here. They want to get the kill over to Dr. and successfully they will be able to do so. As BDD, also making his way out, holds onto the Spirit Rush, which is a big deal.
Yep, he also did just get that level up from the Rod of Ages, so pushing him ahead of Yahoo in terms of levels. KT feeling pretty strong now as a result, going to push down this mid-tier 1.
Yeah.
Lagging up in a few seconds as well, can look towards that. With Andil being down and no ward control, they can set up for it. You can see recall from BDD, he has TP as well, and will be picking up the Leandri, so they should be able to pick up the second dragon, but they will lose top tower and the Herald in return.
Yeah, so it's an okay trade here for DRX, but they really did want to get to that soul point. Would have been very, very nice. Still, I think delaying an Elder Drake situation is going to be okay for either side, as Rich is just going to get infinitely tanky. Lazyfield wants to get to 3 items as soon as possible, things like this. But as the map gets opened up, KT just feeling better and better. Perfect in position to try and take down this outer turret on the bottom side as well, as Cuz is going to tell Rich that there is just no way that he's getting down there to defend.
Yeah, I love how Cuz is trying to convince Rich that he does damage. He's like, no, I'm 5-0, I'm really fed. And Rich is like, shit, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
So in the end, with the fact that they walked over and took the outer turret, the Rift Herald doesn't really do that much. So the extra turret on the top side of the map, that is what DRX is sort of banking on.
Yeah.
Does get them back within like even gold, right?
You did also see the turret go down bot in return.
Oh yeah, true.
We also saw the Herald give 2 soul stacks over to center.
Oh my god!
5.
Okay,
yeah,
never mind. Huge lead for KT.
The game still feels very even though. I think at this point, Victor's getting pretty strong. Zeri's got a lot of items on the belt. It still feels like anyone's games, and I think it just comes down to these win cons in the fight, how the fight plays out, the execution. For KT, it's really get onto these carries. You need to connect on a Yahoo, you need to connect on a Laserfield. The opening of the fight needs to result in one of them dying pretty much off the back of your ultimates. On the other side for DRX, the longer the fight goes, the better. And hopefully you start to get some resets and get some value from Laserfield and Yahoo. Longer fights, get the Arcane Storm resetting, get Laserfield stacking up.
Yeah, Cuz going in just to get a cheeky Q onto Andil here as Sponge was moving over, looking to try and get a bit of vision around this Baron that has freshly spawned 10 seconds ago. There is a snare to come in. He does get rid of a couple of the members of KT. Sponge just on his own adventure here as the rest of the team nowhere in sight. Andil finally moving back, but you can see this Poppy is not really afraid of anyone.
A lot of confidence from that little Yordle, but trying to just maintain some presence around the Baron area. We see actually Cuz moving towards the bot side to try and steal away a red buff, but we'll give up a lot of control in this Baron area.
Yeah, I don't know whether they'll be able to start it or anything like that, but stealing away red can be important, especially when the game is this close. Any little advantage is going to feel good. There is the knock up towards Rich here.
I like how now
beautiful.
it's the point where they both have unending despair, so it's just like, it's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
The damage doesn't really...
Look at how much cooler Perfect Sunfire Cape is than Rich's Sunfire Cape.
That is true, but look how much more damage Rich's does because he has an extra 1,063 health from his passive.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, that's
a shame.
Oh, but look how much cooler Perfect's shoes are, right?
Oh yeah! The shoes look like a train. They kind of look like Snowpiercer, don't they? That's what it always reminds me of.
Yeah, they do. I will say though, Perfect's level 15, nearly level 16, and he hasn't...
Yeah, where are everyone's cool stuff?
Yeah, you need to start giving those out.
Yeah.
He's being very selfish. He also gets stats from those, so...
Yeah, he needs to do it. We need Infinity Force here for Cuz. You know, where's the... There it is. Okay, so we've got the Molten Cleaver now complete. I think that's the actual name. Wow, that's...
No, they changed it.
Oh, yeah, no, they're not. They don't have the names anymore. Like, I mean, that was the actual name.
Yeah, now it's just like...
Now it's just Black Cleaver with Border or something.
Yeah.
I got very sad when they removed the names. They were some of the best names that we've got in the game.
There's some really cool ones, and I feel like that was a test for the play-by-plays, like how many of them do you know?
Although we just invented names for them, so we just ignored the test entirely.
Yeah, that was cool. The thing is, you could say them, and anyone would believe you, because no one knew them all.
Yeah!
I'm convinced people did that.
I don't know whether they believed my Infinity +1 edge, because I found it very difficult to make Infinity Edge cooler.
Yeah.
You know? It's a tough one. But still. I digress. It's no longer in the game. KT have moved casually into a 1,000 gold lead, just from how this game has been going. And I think Doctom is the one that's real happy to be like, I will carry late. Everything's going to be okay. And especially as these items start to come in, it'll look better and better. Please, Perfect, can you just like upgrade that Leandri's? We need Leandri's Anguish, you know? Where is it?
Dude, both Docdom and Rich are just like, guys, just let me scale. I scale infinitely. This game is going to be 3 hours long.
And as they're saying that, Yehu's like, yeah, and Lazy feels like, yeah, me too, man. Whereas Docdom says it, and BDD is like, please, can we just win? All right, well, they're not doing it just yet. I think both of these teams are aware of how much is on the line. Yeah.
Stress me out a bit that Perfect's level 16 and we only have the 1.
Well, Sponge is sick of all this passivity, and he will just slam Cuz into the wall. Cuz just gets himself out of there, though.
I actually think that should be the play from KT. You rotate Perfect up, not for an engage, but specifically to give out ornaments, and you have BDD go to cover. Please, I need, you get the extra stats as well for giving them out.
Exactly. And he knows that he can do it because we have it on Docdom. Like, it's not one of these Zeka situations, you know? It's like been a while since Perfect just played it. He just gave one!
No, he just built his own randoms.
No, he built his own randoms, but he gave the Molten Edge to
he knows how to do it. He knows how to do it. Come on. Cuz is right there. Give it over.
Cleaver, sorry.
I want to see it, the animation.
All right, well, Sponge taking a fair bit of damage here. Cuz's Q, actually, you can be pretty tanky, and he will still cut through you. As there's the knockup from Rich over the wall. Bit of a fight breaking out, though, on the other side as Peter is just about to get 100 to 0, but so is Sponge. Him going down is such a big deal as they're all just piling on top of Lazyfield. There was no one there to peel because Rich is just a lumbering train, and he is just going to get taken down. DRX eventually getting outmaneuvered here in this game by KT. And Peter, he is able to dash out of the way of that zombie as well as Andal and Yahoo wondering what the heck they're supposed to do now.
And now KT pick up the dragon pretty quickly, going to move over towards that Baron. Didn't even feel like a competition there from DRX. And KT feeling more than confident with the situation.
Yeah. Peter is still looking a bit worse for wear, but I think KT aren't going to be contested on this Baron. Andal and Yahoo wanting to walk in, they can at least sweep out this brush and try and create themselves an opportunity.
Oh, wait, he's doing it!
Yeah, he's actually finally giving these items away.
Wait.
Wait, no, he started and then got interrupted by Baron, I think.
Just give them out.
That's a shame.
Please.
Can you now do it while he's backing? Just turn that Infinity Edge into an, Triforce into an Infinity Force.
Okay, so Great Charm comes out of the Poppy, which kind of stops Sponge from being able to mitigate. The ult connects on Lazyfield. The chase comes in, and this is kind of the thing. Lazyfield doesn't get to play the game, doesn't really get to function, and the rest of the team is so heavily split. Just the execution from KT when they're coordinated on these backline carries, and when DRX aren't able to peel, it just becomes so easy. This Wukong's so strong right now.
Yep, and the coordination as well, even though they were kind of spread, right? To be able to say, like, you take care of these two, we'll find this fight over here, was beautifully done as once again Andal caught out of position. Peter having a bit of a day out on this Rakan, I have to say, as the train is just going to join the fight, but so is the Ram. Will get interrupted, so Sponge going to deny the extra knockback, but oh god, he is not going to last very long. Rich also getting cut down by Docdom's Molten Cleaver, and he is turned into a zombie. Cuz going to respawn because of course he's got a GA. That's like 17 items that he's built for himself. This Wukong is so rich. He's making aiming look like he doesn't have enough money.
Max, he did it. He gave them all out.
Oh, thank God. Okay. The Rod of Eons has been completed here for BDD as they time travel forward towards a 2-0 victory. KT fans not breathing a sigh of relief just yet, as the Nexus hasn't gone down, we have to say. The flash forward from BDD doesn't quite find the charm there, as Andal able to get out of the way of this Ahri, but the Nexus turrets are the targets here. The knockup's coming on through. KT from strength to strength towards the end of this particular round robin. Is it going to be enough? That is the question, as they make sure it's as difficult as possible for D+ Kia.
Yep, they've done everything they can.